Welcome to the Real Texas Radio Podcast with your host, Bronan. Thank you so much for tuning in again, or if you're joining the Real Texas Radio Podcast for the first time, 1,000 welcomes. I've got a very exciting discussion. Again, I've got another guest already, two guests for 2026, a small business owner here in Dallas. And he's being harassed by the City of Dallas code enforcement. So we're going to get into that discussion in just a moment. But first, I have launched a column, and I've launched it on Substack. And the easiest way to check out my columns is if you go to my X account, RTR_Bronan, RTR_Bronan. I've already published a couple of columns focusing on, well, for example, do you know which Dallas libraries are slated for closure? Or perhaps they won't be closing after all. You got to find out. And also, guess how many illegal alien hospital visits happened in the state of Texas in fiscal year 2025. I got another column on that issue. So make sure, sign up for my Substack. Again, you can find that through X, RTR_Bronan, RTR_Bronan. And it's totally free, by the way. And it's mixed media. So I make sure to include video and images in all of my columns. And they're pithy. And if you don't mind a little partisanship, then I highly recommend checking out the columns. All right. Well, the other thing you want to make sure to do is, if you're not already downloading the Real Texas Radio Podcast from wherever you stream, make sure you go ahead and do that and give me a like. That's a kind request. And thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, now. You're listening to the Real Texas Radio Podcast. I'm your host, Bronan, just a fed-up taxpayer bringing you all of your Texas, local, and national news. All right, Ryan, thank you so much for joining the Real Texas Radio Podcast today. We've got an interesting discussion planned, and you are the owner of Elevated Cannabis, which is in Oaklawn. And tell us about your business.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. So we are a hemp dispensary on Fairmont, 3819 Fairmont, right off Oak Lawn. Started as a push cart out on Cedar Springs originally, and then after 2 years and a successful run in front of the state fair, we were able to open the brick and mortar just kind of down the corner from where we first started. We don't sell any glassware or anything like that, just strictly cannabis products. Have a large selection, and look forward to anybody who has any questions or is curious about some cannabis goodies to come on in.
All right. And I want to make the distinction here for the audience, something really interesting. And it took me a long time to wrap my head around this. Marijuana is not legal in the state of Texas, but hemp is legal in the state of Texas. Is that right?
That's correct. Hemp is legal due to the 2019 Farm Bill, and then Texas also has its own Farm Bill that also legalized hemp. So it's legal on both the federal and state levels here. Um, the main difference between hemp and marijuana is going to be the THC level, especially depending on the method of testing and when it's tested.
Okay. All right. And so you have been running into some issues with code enforcement in Dallas, specifically regarding your push cart, which is like it's not a food truck. It's like a much smaller version of a food truck. Is that accurate?
Yeah, basically the idea was originally I just thought, man, like there's all these bars, there's this great area in town. It would make sense to have a little pop-up kind of a late night dispensary right here. And so I was trying to figure out how I could do that. and realized that cannabis products in Texas are considered food, right? Edibles, like edibles, gummies, things like that are all food. So then it hit me that if the little Palatero guys can push around in like South Oak Cliff and over off Bishop, like peddling their wares, that I could do the exact same thing over on Cedar Springs with my wares. So I got my consumable hemp manufacturing license so that I could sell directly from, like, as a manufacturer, could sell directly to the customer. And then therefore my sales vehicle was the push cart. In 2002, I was licensed. I was a licensed mobile food vendor in the city of Dallas.
For 2022.
Sorry, 2022. I've been doing that all day. Sorry,
No
2020.
worries.
Yeah, in 2022, I was a licensed push cart vendor in Dallas, and then all of these issues kind of started to come up in 2023, and we can get into that. But as far as the business goes, yeah, it's we just sell pre-rolls, edibles, right there on the corner. I go down to the records building, get the survey maps, figure out where is technically like public land, public easement. We set up there. There's a spot in front of Bishop Arts that I set up on sometimes over. We did the fair in 2024. They used a weird, obscure thing to stop us in 2025 that I just didn't have the money to fight, to be honest. Which was a
Okay.
real
And,
bummer.
and that was I know that Dan Patrick, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, I know he is highly opposed to hemp and he tried to get it banned and ultimately Greg Abbott vetoed the ban, but it was looking like it was going to be banned earlier in 2025.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. We were all sweating in June of 2025. Abbott came through at the end of the month, which was amazing. And Abbott's pushed for his executive orders have pushed for some really good regulation. I am a little worried. I think like the whole industry is a little nervous right now. It's almost like Patrick and his prohibitionist buddies have backdoored through the State Department of Health. They have a rules change. The comment period is actually open until the 26th, but they had the in-person hearings were the 9th last week, and it's there's just a lot of changes that are gonna basically, I mean, it would kill my shop. It would kill most shops like mine across the state for sure. It would
Yes.
it completely hand the industry over to like Specs, Total Wine, those guys.
I have been reading about this, and if we have time, we'll get into that. But I want to
Yeah, sure.
backtrack a little bit. So you have a license, right? Or is it a certificate to operate your push cart? Is that correct?
Okay, so that's where all of these troubles start, and it's it to me it doesn't seem that hard, but the basics of it are that there was in in 2023 the Texas House passed Texas House Bill 2878, and then the Senate ratified it, all that, yeah. And what that did was it changed it. So prior to September 1st of 23, you had to have a permit in each city. So like Dallas had to have a permit, Irving had to have a permit, Farmers Branch, yada yada. Now you have to get one permit from Dallas County and you can operate in the entire county. And so, because there would be regulations that would say, like Irving might say you had to have this big of a sink and this certain like thing, and then Dallas would have different regulations. And so it was very timely and costly to go to all the meetings and do everything. So the state just cleared it up by saying the county will issue a countywide permit for everybody.
Right.
In doing so, the county said, "Hey, we do not want to deal with the low level, like non-hazardous items." The law changed, and it changed part of chapter 437 of the Texas Food Establish or sorry, Texas Health and Safety Guidelines, which state that the director, who like the director of Dallas County, can make up she can kind of give like basic guidelines and rules at her own discretion. So what she said was that there would be no permit required in Dallas County if you sell individual, consumable, non-TCS items, which means non-temperature controlled. So like candy bars, chips, sodas, like
Like
the
prepackaged items.
exactly all the ice cream stuff, like the push pops, fudge sickles, all of those. Anything that you're buying from a licensed like commercial facility that's commercially packaged. You can't make it at home and package it, and you can't like a hot dog you're opening and you're selling it open, so that would not be like a sealed individual container, you know?
Right, right.
But
And
all of my product, uh-huh.
I was just going to say, and just for a distinction for listeners outside of Texas, so previously you would have had to go to all these individual cities within Dallas County, including Dallas, including Garland, Irving, Richardson, etc., and you would have had to get a permit to vend with your push cart, almost like a redundant permit that had to meet all of um, these different expectations for the different cities. Now Dallas County is just like the one source of truth, or it's supposed to be the single source of authority for this kind of activity. Is that correct?
That's correct. And so it's yes, and that was the issue was that it was like okay, like it cost me I think my Dallas permit was like I forget it's been years, but it was like 400 something dollars.
Per
And then if
year.
I per year, exactly. And it was a full day of filling out, 4 hours of filling out paperwork, getting all because they want to have, okay, where is your commissary? Where's your tax certificate? Where's they've got a whole
Right,
binder of stuff they want, right? And then you've got to go to Plano, and Plano wants all of the same stuff. And then Richardson, and Richardson wants all of the same stuff. And it's just, and it becomes like, okay, I can't afford $8,000 in permit fees and
right.
so, yeah. And then, and actually, I mean, I don't want to like get ahead of ourselves, but the state actually in this past legislature passed a law that will make it a statewide mobile food vending permit so that like you can drive your truck. Because like right now, if you're a driver in Dallas and you just hear of like some big event going on in Waco and you want to go, you've got to get a temporary permit. There's all these hurdles to it. The state is getting to where they are making this. There's a statewide permit next year,
Okay,
so you can just go anywhere. And so, like this Dallas and the Tarrant County trial of it, because Tarrant County did the same thing, was one of the
okay,
trials of how this system would work. And we're seeing that it's not working with Dallas, City of Dallas, for sure.
okay. And so to bring us forward, where you have been running into issues, so you have this now Dallas County wide permit. You have a legit permit. You paid your fees. You filled out the application. You've been approved. Is that
Well,
correct?
so that's just it. I don't have a permit from Dallas County because their director has said no permit is required. So like Dallas County, the only way I can explain it is that Dallas County will not issue me a permit because they say I do not need one, that I'm free and clear to do what I'm trying to do. Like no permit is required to sell individually sealed non-TCS consumable items.
Okay,
Coincidentally, all of my hemp products by state law have to be individually sealed.
okay,
I can't sell an item that's open. So it's like I have to sell individually sealed items.
right.
All of my items just naturally are TCS, temperature safe, like the gummies, the pre-rolls. I mean, I guess you could have stuff, but I don't have any of that. So like they fit that. And they're all consumable because again like they're consumable goods, so all of
Okay,
my products fit the county's description of good. Like it'd be no different. I just like if you wanted to go, if you decided today that you wanted to go sell candy bars, chips, and sodas, you don't need a permit as long as that's all you're selling. Now if you add a hot dog into it or something, absolutely.
okay,
But if you're just selling the sealed prepackaged items that someone else made, you're good to go.
okay. And so where you're running into issues, so then city of Dallas, not county, but city of Dallas code enforcement, they are approaching you out on Cedar Springs Road, and they're asking you, where is your city of Dallas permit? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And we've seen your videos on social media. I have seen your videos anyway on your X account. Actually, you want to give a shout out to your X account in case anybody wants to take a look at these videos?
Yeah, it's at ryansbarnett.com or Ryan S. Barnett. Yeah. At
Okay,
Ryan.
yes. If you want to
Oh,
see videos of Ryan trying to explain to the city of Dallas code enforcement officers this situation, you haven't had much success trying to persuade them.
so what's funny is that I've had success getting a ticket dismissed by a prosecutor just by showing him the law. I've had success getting a city of Dallas jury to find me not guilty by showing them the law. And I've had success presenting motions before a city of Dallas judge showing them the law. But I have never once, not a single person of the probably 20 that I've talked to in code enforcement, gotten anyone there to even agree that I might be correct.
Interesting, interesting. And so, what do you think is the issue there? Is code enforcement, have they just not been trained on this new legislation, or it's not really new anymore? It's a couple of years or 3 years old.
So, I mean, that's the thing that's really there. A couple of facts on it is that the city of Dallas ordinance that they used to cite me was codified into law in 2011 about public vending, and they updated some changes about like the public. It was when food trucks first started, right? So that was 2011. There's a Dallas Observer article that was written in September of 2023 when this new law went into effect. It was passed in the 88th legislature in June of 2023, went into effect September 1st. Boom, Dallas County. In fact, it was so like overwhelming to everyone that Dallas County issued out an edict that for 6 months there was no permit needed for any operations whatsoever. I'm talking about for me all the way up to like full food trucks because everybody was so caught off guard because like they said, it was passed in June, went into effect in September. There wasn't enough time to get ready. Dallas still has never updated the city ordinance. Like literally all they have to do is say because the city ordinance right now says that you have to have a city of Dallas permit, and that's what they're ticketing me for. And it's like there is no like, it's I would say it's just I think things start at the top, and it's Christopher Christian, the director of code enforcement, and just from the top down. It's like they got rid of the guy who was the main food truck inspector. Like you would have to go. They have an office kind of hidden off Northwest Highway over in East Dallas, and you would take your vehicle over there, your food truck, your push cart, whatever it was. He'd inspect everything, make sure it's all up to code. He got transferred over to a new department.
Okay.
A couple of people got transferred, but the website's still up. Like nobody bothered. They did the lowest level, like low hanging fruit. Like, hey, Edward, go over here. Hey, like Susie, you're over here now. But they didn't say like again, if you go to the website, you can still book an appointment for the city of Dallas to give you a permit to get your food truck.
Even though they have no authority over food truck permitting anymore.
Exactly. It'll cancel it. I will admit, I mean, in disclosure, once you book the appointment, because I did this a few months ago, it will then send you an email like 24 hours later telling you that like your appointment has been canceled. It won't tell you why. It'll just say your appointment's been canceled. Um, but there's still a full website for it. There's still a full like massive section of city code about like the authorization of this kind of permitting and this kind of permitting. It's just laziness. Nobody bothered to say, "Hey, we need this law changed and we need to do X, Y, and Z to get it in compliance." They just kind of shuffled cards around to make it look like things were done.
I wonder, I believe I've seen you've spoken to the full city council. You've gone into briefings and addressed the city council. Is that correct?
I have spoken at the city council personally, and I am hoping to speak at the next meeting. I gotta figure out if I meant to call earlier and sign up today. I'll call in a minute.
Do you
But
know where you know where I wonder if you have better luck? Have you gone into the Dallas County Commissioners because this would be their domain. It's entirely possible that they just have not coordinated with the city or any of the Dallas County cities on this issue.
So, I mean, I have not spoken to the city commissioners about it. I have spoken. The issue is like, man, it's so glaringly City of Dallas is the problem because like this the county's health board now, like they have a great website. Like when you go onto the county's website, if you search like Dallas County mobile food vending, there's a little application. It says like online application, whatever, and you click it, and it's a little packet. It gives you the PDF. You got to fill it out, turn it in, you know. But it even says on the bottom right there, it says on I think it's page 5 or 6, it clearly states no permit is required if selling, and it's consumable, individually packaged, whatever.
Right.
They From talking to them, when I had my trial last February, I subpoenaed the county's health, like the director of Dallas County Health, and she came and she was like, "We have emailed all sorts of guides out to the cities. Like the county has done everything they can do. It's just again, it's like there's no management at code enforcement to say, hey, this is like because I guess that's the thing that really gets me too, right? Is that I've won 3 times in court last year alone.
Dallas
And
Municipal Court.
in Dallas Municipal Court, yes,
Okay.
including a jury trial. Like 3 different times I've
And you
beaten
have
them.
no lawyer. You have not hired a lawyer.
No, I just go pro se. It's just me. Dude, I have the facts. I don't need a lawyer.
Okay. All right. And so you've had three you haven't had three trials. You had one jury trial, is that correct?
One jury trial, one trial with the before the judge.
Bench trial.
Bench trial, thank you. Yeah, I always forget that term. And then one the interestingly enough, the very first time it happened, I was able to show the attorney, and I was like, look, the city's just not updated their stuff. This was like very early on. This was, I think, like
And you
the
mean the
law.
prosecutor for Dallas, the
Yeah,
Dallas
yeah.
city prosecutor.
Yeah, but again, it's such a rotating. These people don't. They're not up to date on. They know the basics of the law. They've just graduated law school. They're in. They're out. Um, it's a rotating door down there of people, and so it's like the first one I showed the prosecutor, hey, this law changed like 9 months ago, and he was like, oh, okay, cool, and he sent the motion to dismiss, and I thought I was totally good. Then I got another one, so I thought, okay, I'll go to a jury trial this time. Like I'll just get clearly after I get a jury trial, that will be good. So I got the jury trial. I took the not guilty verdict. I had it delivered by certified mail to the director of code enforcement in Dallas. And then I thought I was done.
Right.
Um, 4 months later, I got another ticket. I had that dismissed in the bench trial. Then I got the ticket that I had my upcoming trial for right now in October of 2024. So I took my dismissals and I went to the city council and I had certified I have beaten you this way, I've beaten you this way, I've beaten you this way. And still no one responds to me. I've emailed every single individual Dallas city councilman and their like council support liaison. They all use a
Right.
different term, but I've emailed each one individually as well as on a whole group of email. Nothing. And
Wow.
now we have 5 trials. There's 5 different times where we're going to waste everybody's time, money, resources, and everything just for me to say, hey, like the law changed. Here's the updated law. Here you go. And the jury says he's right, and I leave.
So let me ask you this. So you were in court on January 14th. So again, redundant, your latest citation or one of your latest citations. Tell us what happened on January 14th in Dallas Municipal Court.
Oh yeah, so I showed up for the pretrial. Just here get a few little things, discovery request, all that kind of stuff out of the way. I would say that the interesting thing that I was telling you, so man, when you just sit there and watch for other people what's going on, and you know that you've been railroaded, so you have like a little bit of an inclination to kind of think that maybe like these people have also received an unfair treatment. So this guy that was there, basically he'd rented out an event venue for somebody else. Like he was hosting a party to celebrate somebody. Code
Okay.
enforcement came. Code enforcement came because there was a noise complaint. He ended up getting a ticket because his name was not on the certificate of occupancy.
So like a
Okay.
technicality.
But it was a rental event venue. That'd be like going to a restaurant and like my name's not on the certificate, but I'm gonna like be there, you know?
Right.
But he got the ticket for the not for the noise complaint, but for his name not being on the certificate of occupancy. It was a $400 ticket. And then he's like, I guess not guilty. Like, I guess we'll go to trial. And the judge is like, well, to avoid a trial, what if we just do $85? And the guy's like, yeah, yeah, okay, cool. And just settles. And I watched two other people. I didn't get the details on their case because I just kind of like could hear the detail, the amounts. But I watched two other people settle. They were like, no, I had all the permits. I was totally valid. And they're just like, well, what if we cut the fine by 70%? And it's just I mean, it's just revenue generation, man. That's all it is. Like they're not.
But when you think about it, like, so you just said, okay, so this guy settles for 85 bucks. I mean, that's not covering code enforcement to go out and monitor a party and write tickets and the cost of vehicle and court fees and everything, you know? It's hard to believe. It's probably a money pit, the whole court.
Oh, it's got the whole thing has to be a giant money pit. And the thing is, it's like if we're going to waste our money, let's at least waste it on productive things, right? Like instead of code enforcement going out and harassing people who then just plead down and maybe 20% recovered on the dollar, like why is it that I mean, I live here in Oak Lawn, but just over on Harry Hines, just like a stone's throw away at the Market Center Transit Center, there's an entire homeless village that's popped up right now.
Oh boy, yeah, and the Bates Motel down there. Ugh, what a blight, that whole area.
Well, I just mean like if you go to where Kings intersects Harry Hines, right to the little transit center. I
Right.
was just trying to ride my bike to go to Fort Worth the other day. So it's like you ride down where Wycliffe comes down, right?
Yes.
There's a whole homeless village like right there. These
Oh
people
yeah.
pass out every day, but then they're gonna come harass me. But
Right.
um,
Right.
but
Well,
no,
that's
total.
nonviolent. That's nonviolent crime. If it's homelessness, it's nonviolent, so we don't have to consider it.
Yeah, and I will say this, it's like the Dallas courts, the only people that are not really doing a good job in this, in my opinion, are the code enforcement because it's like it's strange that this person has this unchecked ability to just waste, like open up a fire hose of money and waste and time. Like, I mean, because it's like I'm spending so much time, the city prosecutors are spending so much time nobody wants to be dealing with this.
So the result then of court on the 14th for you, you said it was just pretrial. So uh, did you schedule a trial?
So I have my first trial of the five is scheduled for February 11th at the Dallas Municipal Court.
Okay, okay. Where it's entirely possible you could show up and this gets dismissed again, or who knows, by just more foolishness for you to have to battle.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I one thing, yes, if the code enforcement officer doesn't show up, they can just dismiss the case. They can reschedule it. There's all sorts of things. But then I've got another case, and then I've got, and that's just the two. Then I've got the three citations I received this year. So that's the five trials this year. And I mean,
You've received three citations in 2026?
in 2026, I received my first citation at 12:15 a.m. on January 1st.
Wow, Happy New Year from code
Yep.
enforcement.
Yep. And then got one the following Friday and the following Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen you've been posting a lot more videos. They're really on your case now on the weekends.
Yeah,
Um,
they just come out this past weekend. And it's interesting. Once I started calling them out on the fact that it was the same woman, and I mean the thing is, like you've seen the video, I clearly asked them, how are you not in violation of House Bill 2878? How do you not see this? Like I literally so the House bill, the change over to Dallas County happened, like I said, on September 1st of 2023. And at that time, I had a valid permit that was good for Dallas through the end of October of 2023.
okay.
I've actually left that permit on my cart, like in full visible view, so that if they say anything, I'm always like, guys, we all know that the county took over the regulation in September. I was clearly permitted through October of that same year. So I clearly would be permitted if the county issued, like, it's not like I'm just not getting a permit. And
Right.
it's not like I'm doing something that's against like the rules or regulations. It's a genuine, the county has said you don't need a permit in order to do this.
Right. Right. Well, listen, Ryan, I got to run here, but I really appreciate
Yeah.
you coming on to the Real Texas Radio podcast. Definitely keep us in the loop, and we'll have you on again if you'd like once you got some updates with your trial, maybe next month.
Yeah, I asked for a discovery request. Once I get all the discovery and get everything together, I was gonna kind of post a video showing what I plan on presenting in court and everything online. So I'll tag you and we'll just go from there.
Great. Awesome. All right. Well, have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, dude. Later.
Take care.